Welcome to 99th Monkey Liberty News for Tuesday, April 29th, 2014. My schedule today is a little different. I had to accommodate some extra things. So I'm doing this very early, and I know there's some news that's in flux right now. I read a tweet that at a Federal Express hub, someone has gone postal, if you will forgive the term, and there's been a shooting spree, and I don't know details on that yet, and don't really know enough about it to comment, and I'm sure that we'll all be hearing about the details as the day progresses. I'm beginning today with a philosophical piece from InfoWars, The Strangelove Effect, or How We Are Hoodwinked into Accepting a New World War. And this is based on the movie Dr. Strangelove, directed by Stanley Kubrick. And I just want to pull a couple of sentences here. President Merkin Muffley, I will not go down in history as the greatest mass murderer since Adolf Hitler. General Turgidson, perhaps it might be better, Mr. President, if you were more concerned with the American people than with your image in the history books. The genius of Stanley Kubrick's film is that it accurately represents the Cold War lunacy and dangers. And yes, in case you have not yet heard, we are being dragged into another Cold War. This is one of the things that's going on in Ukraine. Ukraine nationalists rally to commemorate Nazi SS division. There have been some things happening in Ukraine. A mayor was shot while riding a bicycle. There are many things going on there. The people who want war are just pushing really hard and exacerbating that situation. Over the weekend, someone was able to sort of sneak into a meeting of, I think it was the Trilateral Commission. Yeah, the Trilateral Commission, and learn from some remarks by John Kerry that there were going to be additional sanctions placed on Russia, and yeah, they are being placed, and there are many aspects of this story which I won't get into right at this time. But ultimately, you know, we're being forced into another conflict, dragged, as I am, kicking and screaming toward another conflict. And as we did with Syria, now, although this is less direct, and this is not some war that Congress needs to vote on, I think that it's important for us at this time to make our voices heard and let Congress know that we do not want a war with Russia, cold or otherwise. From Washington's blog, American public turns anti-war. Warmongers desperately reply, but war is good for us. War is peace, freedom is slavery, and ignorance is strength. No. Not buying it. And I hope that you are not buying it either. And in this country, in America, government exists by the consent of the governed, and I do not consent to this. I do not consent to Cold War with Russia. I do not consent to hot war with Russia. I do not consent to ostensibly helping Ukraine maintain its sovereignty when we in this country are struggling hard to maintain our own sovereignty. And I haven't watched this video yet, but I wanted to include it before it's news. An incredible, terrifying prophecy: Russia destroys unprepared America in 1 hour. And there's a video. I'm not, throwing my weight behind this prophecy. I don't. I'm not taking it as gospel, certainly. But I do want to just consider it. Why should we risk ourselves, our lives, our futures on Ukraine? And this country has a history. I saw a Facebook meme the other day of, something like 500 bases in I forget how many countries. That's not protecting ourselves. That's an empire. The military that we have is not acting in our best interest. Now, the good guys in the Pentagon, the white hats that we've all heard about, I believe that they are. But the structure of the decision-making portion of our government, at least the what appears to be the decision, the puppets, they're not. What they're doing is not in the best interest of America and Americans. It's, they say that this is for our defense, but they're putting us at huge risk. They're placing us in the sights of Russia. And I do believe, and I've had articles here about the $5 billion that was used to stir up strife in Ukraine. I do believe that rogue elements of our government, of the American government, have been instrumental in stirring up this and bringing this crisis to a head. And to say that officially that they're for peace is pretty much just a bold-faced lie. And again, I just want to state I do not consent, and I'm hoping that you won't consent either. We don't need to fight in Ukraine. We don't need a Cold War with Russia. We have enough problems. And actually, what a convenient distraction this is from some of the real problems with which we are grappling. For something a little lighter, but still horrible. From InfoWars, whistleblower reveals faulty radar guns used to ticket drivers. I can tell you that citizens got tickets they didn't deserve. That from a police whistleblower in a northern Dallas suburb. So just a reminder to us that it's a sham and we're being duped, and it's time for us to stand up and say, oh no, you didn't. We're not going to put up with this anymore. Another InfoWars article. I'm kind of heavy on InfoWars this morning. I guess I'm in an Alex Jones kind of a mood. Media Matters boss admits Soros-funded group works to destroy alternative media. It is what it is. George Soros has an agenda, and it's not to benefit you. It's not to benefit me. It's to promote his own causes and increase his own power base. So the more we can, filter, again, I use that word a lot. Filter, filter, filter. Don't believe something just because it comes from a source that you used to trust. Don't believe something based on who says it. But research, look behind the scenes as much as you can. Find as many perspectives as you have time to find. And piece it together inside your own head, from your own point of view, form your own frame of reference based on some truth, as much truth as you can find. Here's a little interesting article that caught my eye. This is in the kind of the, I don't use this language, but it's kind of in the WTF category. From InfoWars, Pentagon to destroy $1 billion in ammunition. Okay. You know, we always hear about the ammunition that they're building up. Well, you know, they just have some extra money. Hey, the military-industrial complex has to feed the monkey, right? So, you know, just ditch some of this old stuff and buy new stuff so that pockets can be lined. Yeah, that makes sense, right? Well, no, of course it doesn't. They're in, you know, who knows why they do what they do. It is to exploit us, make money off of us, enslave us, fool us, deceive us, trick us, and keep us dependent. I'm not going to comply with that. Are you? Here's an interesting twist. I noticed this article at IntelliHub. NBA's Donald Sterling ruling may lead to revocation of First Amendment rights in the future. I reported yesterday, you know, the man's, you know, he's just, what he said, I don't know the man, I don't know his character, but what he said is despicable. Does that mean he should lose his First Amendment rights? No, of course not. And all these, you know, again, I took the bait yesterday, and I'm sorry. Anything that blazes across everybody's computer screen, everything that shows up on YouTube as a popular recommended video, that is news that somebody wants to spoon feed you and me. And why? Why would we be spoon fed the story about Donald Sterling? Well, so that we, you know, feel some empathy for people who are wounded by hate speech, and we are more open to considering having speech limited. Not going to work, at least not in this forum, but nice try, guys. We are going to insist on liberty and enforce the Bill of Rights. From the American Center for Liberty and Justice, so the UN wants control of the internet. What's the big deal? Well, you know what the big deal is, right? Of course you do. And from before it's news, pre-crime systems now actively monitoring the internet. I should have put in the video of the Sting song, I'll Be Watching You. I'm tempted to sing it, but my voice, it's early morning, and I won't subject you to that. But, yeah, pre-crime systems now actively monitoring the internet. Now, what I don't want to do, and what I hope I don't influence anybody to do in sharing this article, is structure my behavior in order to avoid scrutiny. You know, I'm not a terrorist. I'm a grandmother. I'm not a physical threat to anybody. Although if somebody comes in the house, I would do my best. But so, you know, I'm not going to pull punches. I'm not going to craft my opinion so as not to be offensive to somebody who might be monitoring me, might be watching me. This is not a time for timidity. This is a time for boldness. And, you know, some of the articles that I've had from Fulford and others, the cabal, their position is weakening. I believe they are pulling out all the stops. And if you know where that term comes from, that comes from the old pipe organs. And by pulling out all the stops, you would increase the sound of the organ. You would make it loud. It would be, as much sound as possible. And I think that's really what we all need to do. We need to pull out all the stops. We need to make as much noise as we possibly can. And as I said, this is not a time for timidity. This is not a time to try to be pleasing to our, who consider themselves our masters, because we are sovereign people in America, at least on paper. The government only exists through the consent of the governed. And this is a time when, if we do not consent to something, it's crucial for us to state that we don't consent. How about putting it this way? Speak now or forever. Hold your peace, maybe 6 feet under, because there's this fear of speaking out. What will they do to me? But when Russia was taken over, they put to death more people than all the people who died in the German concentration camps. I think it was something on the lines of 20 million, 60 million, I forget the exact figure, but many, many people. And they were the poets, the philosophers, the theologians, the artists, the musicians. They did a purge because they just didn't want to have to deal with creative thought. So pull out your best creative thought now. Put it out there. And again, boldness, not timidity. Let's pull out all the stops. And I'm ending with this today. It may not specifically be good news, but if you watch it, I think it will lift your spirits, give you some hope. Joseph Farah was a guest on Alex Jones' show yesterday, and the two of them were joking together, and it was encouraging, very encouraging. So if you feel a little down, a little uncertain, fears got you, you're starting to generate loosh. Stop, please don't generate loosh. The evil forces are fed by loosh and the blood of human sacrifice. As much as we can hold back those two things, the better we will be, because I don't want to feed any kind of demonic entity, dark entity, with fear or any other negative emotions, including hatred. Jesus taught us to love our enemies and even to do good to those who are trying to abuse us. But that doesn't mean that we give our consent to being abused. So, as these wise men recommend, find your moral compass or get run over. I'd rather find my moral compass, wouldn't you? Thank you for tuning in for today's 99th Monkey Liberty News. As the book of Psalms tells us, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. So hold on till that morning comes, hoping that you will hold on, that you will not get run over, that you will find your moral compass, that you will love one another, take care, and enforce the Bill of Rights.